Greetings, diners, and welcome to another edition of the Collapse Cafe here on the Doomstead Diner. And today we are returning to an old tradition, which I haven't done in a while, which is Sunday morning brunch Bloody Mary. Yes, because this has been a bloody week on the diner, and a bloody week in the class world at large as well. So I could think of nothing better to have for breakfast today, or brunch, than a Bloody Mary. And my skewers, this whole Bloody Mary breakfast, brunch, is my anti-coronavirus recipe, okay? So let's look at what's in it, okay? I've got 2 skewers today, all right? And one of them has a lemon and a lime on it, all right? That's my vitamin C for the day, okay? Besides the, what do you call it, vitamins. And then I have a skewer with garlic stuffed olives, okay? Garlic, ultimate antivirus food, okay? You can't eat enough garlic in a day or in a meal, all right? And so that's going with our meal as well, or our drink. And then to supplement, and there's tomatoes on there too, okay, because I like tomatoes with garlic and olives, and because they're a good source of vitamin A and vitamin C too, okay. And then for even more garlic, I have a whole head of roasted garlic here, all right, roasted in olive oil. Good. And when you do roast up your garlic in oil, don't throw the oil out, okay? That oil is infused with garlic and is great to use for your stir fries and all sorts of things, okay? So after you roast your garlic, you can rebottle it and then use it as you need it, which is good. And then finally, to supplement all of that, is vitamin pills, okay? Here's my selection. I don't eat these all or swallow them all in one day, all right? This is about a week's worth. And I've got in there vitamin A, E, D, multivitamin, calcium, magnesium, zinc supplements, vitamin C pills, iron pills, vitamin D, chromium picolinate, and I don't know what the fuck else. And I don't eat every single vitamin every day either. I can maybe eat 5 or 6 in a day. Probably could have used a little bit more hot sauce. But it's okay. I'm not going to fix it now. Anyway. Alright. I know. I forgot to put lemon and the lime in. Missing that too. You put the lime in the coconut and eat it all down. Or in this case, the lime in the Bloody Mary. Oh, that was the lemon. Lemon tree very pretty, and the lemon flower is sweet. but the fruit of the poor lemon is impossible to eat. Ah. Ah. At least I can still squeeze with my left hand. Tart. Alright, so let's get on to the topics of the day. We'll start off with the protests that are going on in, I think I started off in Portland, and now they're moving now to Chicago, Kansas City, and another city that El Trumpo is going to send federal troops. Oh, that's better. He's going to send federal troops to quell the violence, so to speak, except until he sent the troops, there wasn't any violence, or, moderates. I mean, anytime you get that many people together, you're going to get a few people that are going to break some windows, okay? But, nobody was getting shot or anything, except once feds came. They shot some guy in the head with a rubber bullet, and he got sent to the ER. It's supposed to be non-lethal weapons, but if you hit it in the right place, you get stuck, hit in the eye, for instance, with one of those rubber bullets, you could die. All right, and they're tear gassing these crowds. There was a wall of moms. Okay, a whole bunch of young to middle-aged women linking arms to stand in front of the protest, which was quite brave, in my humble opinion. And then the other thing is that the demonstrators in general are starting to gear up. All right, like the French Gilets jaunes do. They're starting to wear bike helmets, gas masks, goggles. I saw a couple with hockey pads on their elbows and knees. And so they're getting better equipped to defend themselves against the various forms of non-lethal violence that so far the government is using. Lord only knows what they'll do once the real bullets start to fly. I imagine bulletproof vests will start to get popular. So, rather than diffusing violence, the sending of federal troops into Portland has escalated it. And the same is bound to be true in Chicago and Kansas City as well. But, in Trump's mind, this plays well with his base. He's the law and order president, right? Okay. Although a lot of his base is not so keen on the idea of government troops showing up and telling them what to do either. All right, there's Ruby Ridge and any other number of right-wing style takeovers of places. So it does look in a lot of respects like this act or action is backfiring on Trumpovetsky, which is good news, okay? All right, well, that's enough on the protests for now. And let's talk about the, coronavirus education problem, which I spoke about in an earlier video. And now school, at least up here, is less than 3 weeks away, and the beginning of school. And right now the plan is to fully reopen live in-person classes here on the Last Great Frontier. Except for the fact that COVID is taking an exponential rise upward, mainly due to the seafood industry. The food processing plants and the factory ships, factory trawlers, have been bringing numerous cases back here. And so we have sprung up already double or something, maybe even triple from the last time I talked. And into this upward spiraling mess, they're now going to start sending the kids to school, okay? Now, I worked with kids my entire life, and there's no better transmitter of disease than a kid with a runny nose, okay? And they may not themselves suffer terribly, at least at the beginning, from getting COVID, but they are bound to bring it home, they're bound to bring it to their family, to their friends, and it will spread outward from there. Each little one is its own little epicenter, you know what I mean? And so, you know, it's a really stupid idea at this time to try to do that. And especially with the plan that they have, which is no plan. All right? There are all sorts of things that could be done, and I've written about it on the Diner. And I urge you to stop by the Diner and, you know, read some of our stuff and whatnot. You know, it's not all video. So I am just shocked that they're going to try to do it this way. I mean, it's irresponsible. It's stupid. It doesn't have to be done this way. I can't say enough bad things about it, all right? I will refrain from using expletives. Although I do all the time, so I'm just amazed, okay? I'm just frankly amazed at what's going on there. And then, let me see. Another topic is the nonsense going on with the Chinese. All right? The Chinese and the Americans are each taking turns telling the other one to get out. In other words, close their embassies. Roasted garlic. Delicious. And of course, if you got a girlfriend, you might think twice about this, but I don't have to worry about it. So, where was I? Oh yeah, so they're closing their embassies. Boom, boom, boom. Here, you close this one, I'll close this one. Eventually, you work your way down to the point where there are no diplomats talking to each other. And that is not a good situation. So, the Chinese and the Americans, such as they are working their way to a world war at some point. I don't know how far it is away, just like I don't know when the monetary system is going to crash precisely, or precisely when we will hit 1 million COVID deaths around the world, although I predicted it would happen on my birthday of August 31st. And we're getting there. It's still upward rising. Oh, good. So, predictions about the future are, are hard to make. I can predict things in the past, though, pretty well. um, so, we are leading inexorably to war. We are leading inexorably to an economic crash. And we are also leading inexorably to an extraordinary number of dead people from COVID. And then following that from other means, famine, crop losses, and so forth. So we are in the midst of a crash. We are in the midst of the collapse of industrial civilization. Anybody who doesn't realize that by now has to be an idiot, okay? Couldn't explain it any other way. Well, maybe they're willfully blind. I mean, a lot of people are willfully blind, even if they're reasonably intelligent. We've had a few of those on the diner. So, the point is, though, that it's here now, and it's getting more and more difficult to stay out of the way of what's going on. I urge you all to prep up, be ready for some extreme changes in the political atmosphere, in the health atmosphere, the education atmosphere. All aspects of society are going to be affected. And eventually we'll hit a tipping point too, where things will change even more rapidly than they're changing now. So do your best to prepare yourself for those things. And that's all the doom. This time, until next time, here on the Collapse Cafe of the Doomstead Diner. Hasta la garlic.